Um, Markdown samples. All right. So what I did, this is Notenook, and this is my browser. Oh no, this is I'm sorry, that's Obsidian. Let me get to my browser window. And before I continue to what I'm doing, there is a browser extension in your. It only works with Google Chrome. Something related to Google Chrome and speech requires the use of the real Chrome. But if you go into Chrome and you load the Chrome extension called Speech Recognition Anywhere, it will allow you to do a certain number of free features. And the Windows add-on is, like I said, it's a paid feature. It's a couple of dollars. It's $20 a year, and it lets you dictate anywhere on your computer. And what's nice is it lets you have custom commands. So you can, if I go into uh, text to speech, custom commands, you can put in all kinds of custom commands. And you could say, for example, read message, speak element, and I believe you can put in your own um, words. If you go into custom commands, I thought it was custom commands. Uh, Let me go down to the bottom here. No, I guess I'm not going to be able to show you what I do. Um, do I have this enabled with my password? Uh, Comments, technical support, scripting, pricing, download features. Yeah, so you can, it's $20 a year, and then you can um, put in a phrase. Like, for example, I use the program rclone, and it always spells out the word our clone or something else. So you can put in your own phrase, and then you can tell it what you would like it to put in. So, for example, in this example, display the weather satellite will automatically type in weather bug maps in this particular example. Um, and like I said, you can do all kinds of neat stuff. And the extension is in the Google Play Web Store, and it is this extension right here called Speech Recognition Anywhere. And you can go into Google and take all of your emails if you would like to do it that way. There's also in if I go, actually, you know what? Let me go into uh, Google Chrome and actually launch my speech recognition anywhere. Here we go. Custom commands. They're all the custom commands that I put in. So, for example, if I say uh, crypto software, it puts in cryptometer. If I put in Drew 65 King Consulting, it types in my email address instead. Um, so these are the custom commands that you can put in if you pay for the service. And like, for example, if you can uh, load a program in Windows that will enable you to dictate into any program in Windows. So if I, yeah, this is an example of me dictating into Notepad. And so I can't talk right now at the same time that I have dictation on because it's going to try and dictate everything. If I say new mess, all right. So this is an example of how I can dictate an email. So that's an option for any of you that are on Windows. And if you're on Windows, Mac, or Linux, there is an extension called Speech Recognition Anywhere. And I will manage the extension. Oh, it's called Voice In. In the Chrome Web Store, there is an extension called Voice In Speech to Text Dictation. This runs in Google Chrome on all desktop operating systems. For those of you who use Linux and would like to be able to dictate text, load the Google Chrome web browser, and then you can put the voice in speech to text, and it will let you, for free, dictate into many different um, environments. So if I go into email and I say compose a new email and I go into the body, I can click here. Now I can dictate text into an email. And this works on every, so if you need to open up a chat box with tech support, and most everybody, if you've done tech support with most companies today, they don't support phone chat or phone calls. They do it a lot by chat. This is a way that you can communicate with your technician by simply typing, just talking into the window. So this is something that's also very, very handy. And it's called Voice In, and it's free. But let me go to, I said I would mention briefly KDE Connect. This is the program KDE Connect. It's connected to my Galaxy S23. Um, what I use it for primarily is the clipboard. Um, I can uh, put something in my Windows clipboard and send it to my phone. More often, if I'm sitting in my chair, I might do something on my phone and come up with some text that I want to transfer to my computer. And you have this same send clipboard button on your phone, and you can send it directly to Windows. You can share files, you can browse the files on the device. And if I go into my system tray and I find the KDE icon, go to my cell phone, SMS messages is one of the options. And I can go in, and here is my brother-in-law, Ron, and here are all of his text messages. And I can send text messages back and forth with him on my computer. And you can do this on Android, you can do it on iPhone, and you can do it with any desktop operating system. It's completely open source. So that's a neat way of doing that. And if you ever do like to send your clipboard back and forth between two computers, send clipboard is a way of doing that. And I also, while we're here, use a custom clipboard called CopyQ. This is also open source and multi-platform, and it allows you to store as many different things in the clipboard as you want, and they're persistent from reboot to reboot. When you have items in your clipboard in Windows and you shut down and reboot, they go away. This way they don't. And you can also create tabs. Like, for example, I have in a WSL tab different things that I would type that I want to remember in WSL. In my Linux tab, I have different options that I might want to. And for example, you can have a subject or a description. So this says run tailscale SSH server sudo tailscale set SSH. I would never remember what that is. So I keep it in here. And CopyQ is available from GitHub. It's open source. It runs on Windows, Linux, and Mac. And if you develop a list of different things, like I have Windows commands for killing tasks, I email addresses, frequent email addresses that I type in. If I want to type in my email address, I can simply go to Notepad, and let's say this is, for example, an email. I can bring up here and say, I can just double click on it, and it puts it right into my document or my email or whatever. You could put in an address, you could put in emails, you could put in whatever you want. PowerShell commands that I need to remember, tools that I want to remember how to get to, software that I want to remember how to get back to. So you can create all these tabs, and you can even export and import. So if you have more than one computer, you can build your list commands and transfer them to each of your different computers. So that's called CopyQ, and it's a clipboard manager. Now, what I did is I went into earlier in Chrome, and I did a where did I put it? Right here. I went in and I asked ChatGPT to give me a list of a comprehensive list of different kinds of markdown formats. So it went through and it showed me headings. So each of the different headings, and let me make this a little bigger for you. If you type in a pound sign or 2 pound signs, 3 pound signs, it changes the heading. And this is what they look like after you type them in. This is what bold and strike through look like, inline code, code blocks. And if I were to go into Notepad and type all of that same very text in, this is what it looks like. It doesn't show the heading as an example. It just shows a bunch of pound signs. It shows all of the markdown codes that you get from a conversation that you did with ChatGPT. If I go into here, this is a document that I wrote in, here we go. This is the same thing inside LibreOffice. And you can see that it did successfully interpret heading 1, heading 2, and heading 3, but it screwed up most everything else. If you have Joplin or Obsidian or Notenook installed, and you go into ChatGPT, one of the things that you can do is go into a my favorite clipboard manager, Markdown manager. It's called Markdownload Web Clipper, and it takes an entire document and converts it into HTML. And if I hit download, it actually downloads it to my computer in a Markdown file. And I can hopefully open that folder. And here is that same file in a plain Markdown editor. There is a free open source, and you'll notice that this is a numbered list, and you'll see that right here, I can actually hit the copy button, just like I could do inside chat. If I want to copy anything that's in a box, I can copy it. So if I go back to here, you'll see that inline code, it has a little box where you can copy the code. If you go into Obsidian, here is the same document, and I will go into, this is how it looks normally with all of the codes that are in here. And then I can click here and it will show me what it looks like for real. And again, it has the little boxes where I can copy the text. So if you are like me and do programming or scripting, and they put in a code block where here it says print the word hello, and copy that code block. And Obsidian, by default, does not synchronize for free amongst all of your devices, although it supports all devices. So what you want to do is go into community plugins and browse the community plugins and look for one called Remotely Save. It's this guy right here. And I don't have it enabled right now because I'm using the paid Obsidian service. But if I had it enabled, I could, for example, go to use Microsoft OneDrive or Dropbox. The easiest way to do it is either OneDrive or Dropbox. If I click on enable, let's see if I enable it. And I go down to where are all of my where is remotely save? Remotely empty folders. Background image, remotely sync. Oh, remotely save. It's right here. You go into options and you can choose S3 are compatible, Dropbox, WebDAV. All of the ones down here, like Google, are pro versions that are paid. So pretty much OneDrive and Dropbox are your two primary choices. And even if you use Dropbox or don't use Dropbox on your PC, you can create a free Dropbox account, you don't install Dropbox on your computer to set up synchronization. This handles it directly. So if you go into Dropbox and hit the auth button, it's going to probably open a window and go to and want to open up and authorize to your Dropbox account. And Markdown text is very small. So the 2 gigabytes that they give you for free are plenty of space to handle all of your synchronization. And you can do this on Android, you can do it on iOS, Mac, Windows, Linux. It doesn't matter. And it's completely free. And it's called Remotely Save. And this would enable you to synchronize your data across all of your devices. So when you go into ChatGPT and you get to the very bottom, you'll see these list of choices. And if I click on the one that says copy response, that's going to copy it in Markdown format. Okay. So, and then if you happen to have Markdown installed, I can go to a web page, and each of these web browser note-taking apps have their own little web clippers. So if I go to a website, let me go to How to Geek example, and I'll bring up an article, this $40 battery. Let's say I want to save this article for future reference. I used to bookmark them. I don't bookmark them anymore. What I do is I go into here and I use the Joplin web clipper, and I can choose what notebook I want to send it into. And in this case, I'm going to send it to CFCS. And I want to do a complete page as Markdown, or you can clip a selection. You can do the screenshot. If I say that I want to do a complete page as Markdown, it asks me to confirm. And now if I go into Joplin, here is that article. It tells me that it came from How to Geek, and it's going to include all the pictures. Here is the article that it originally came from, or the author's article name. And here is all of the text properly formatted in Markdown format. And now I can save this web page. I do this rather than bookmarking, because when you bookmark, you're not guaranteed that the original page is all going to be there. And this way that you preserve the original page for you to go back and look at. And all of the hyperlinks that are in here, like this one, are remotely clickable. So if I hit Control and click, it should go into here, and there it is. I plugged in my battery on my phone. So it opened up the article. So it's a very handy way to save all of your documents. Now, I moved from Evernote to Joplin, and I wanted some of the more advanced features in Joplin. So I pay Joplin, I think $6 a month to host my data on their cloud server. And one of the things that lets me do is I can right click and I can say, publish the note and copy shareable link. And once it's done doing that, it's going to tell me that it's copied to the clipboard. Come on. I don't know why it's taking so long to synchronize, but right now it's synchronizing items. And when it's finished, it will give me the shareable link. And what I do is if I need to share this information with Huey, rather than go back into ChatGPT and try and figure out where my conversation was, um, I can just go into my note-taking app and pull up the link. Now it says link has been copied to my clipboard. So I can go into any one of my browsers and open up a new tab and paste this link into here. And now I have the entire article, and I can send this to anybody that I want to, whether it be tomorrow or a year from now. One of the things that I do in my spare time is provide technical support for some open source projects. Every time I find a solution to a problem, or I copy someone else's solution to the problem, I go into uh, here and I go down to my tech support section. And for example, I provide tech support for Joplin. And I have all of these ones that are highlighted in yellow are shared on the internet. These are notes that I've already shared on the internet. If I go to Obsidian, there are free community plugins that would allow me to do the same thing. So if I go in here, I can say share note on the web, and you'll see what it does. It puts this here. This is now the link to the internet. And if I go in here, it will show me that article that I just pasted, that I just shared. Come on, bring me up the article. There we go. And here is the article on a web page. And I can send this to anybody that I want to. So it's a very nice way of preserving your chat information. I don't pay $20 a month for any of the chat services. So you'll probably notice if I go into here and I go to chat, right now I'm logged in as a user called Jake. As soon as I do enough stuff where it says you've used up all your free time or free uploads or free this, you have to wait more time, I just log in as one of my other user accounts and start over again. And so, does anybody have any questions about what I've covered so far? Nobody is raising their hand and nobody is saying anything. Although we do have one message in the chat. Oh, Huey. Go ahead, Huey.
Yeah, I've been kind of doing a few other things, so I haven't gotten everything that you were talking about. But are you then saying that from the chat you can just do a direct copy into what's it, Obsidian that you're putting it in?
Yes. So what I do is if I want to copy the entire thing, I go to the bottom and I just hit the copy response icon. And when I
Okay.
hit the copy response icon, like let me ask you the new question. Um, what when is the next Space launch. Let's see if it comes up with anything. Here's the next space launch. And then if I hit the copy button and I go into Joplin and I say new note, uh, I go into Markdown format and I paste, and you'll see all of the Markdown codes. And then if I choose to go into preview mode, it shows me the text the way that you would want to see it. And now, just like you can with Evernote, you can go into the search box and search for anything that you may have wanted. So if I go down to sports and I type in SpaceX, here is the very first article where it shows the article. So this is what I use in place of Evernote. Um, Primarily because it has Markdown format. Secondarily, because I can go into import and I can directly import Evernote data. So if I export notebooks, like Huey, if you had, let's say you got a lot of notebooks. Let's say you had a half a dozen really important notebooks. You could export those 6 notebooks and import them into Joplin or Obsidian and have them in your Joplin or Obsidian database.
All right. Oh, since it expired and I had a argument with them about the payment and I didn't pay. So I have switched to what's the name of it now? I got to think of it. Uh, UpNote.
Right. And one of I think I actually, after you told me about that, I switched, I loaded UpNote. And if I go in here and I create a new note, and then I go into paste, and I go to my clipboard, and I want to, oops, and I want to allow this to go in here. Let's see what format it puts it in.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
there
what
it
it,
is.
yeah, that's what it did for me.
Yeah.
I just tried the
So,
same thing. Yeah.
yep. And what I didn't like about this app was getting data in and out of it. I found that it was stuck inside the app for the most part. So if I ever chose a year from now to move on from UpNote, I'd have no recourse. Plus, it has no plugins or extensions that you can use to embellish the product. If you go into Obsidian and here, and you go in community plugins and browse the community plugins, they have literally hundreds of plugins that third-party developers have written to enhance us. So, for example, if I wanted to change the color of this text, I would go in here and I can right click and say format and highlight. And now I can highlight that text. And you'll see that the highlight command is actually 2 equal signs. If I go into view mode, it just shows it as highlighted. Joplin has a more extensive one. If I go into the mark, you have to edit this stuff in the markdown format. If I go into here, I actually now have a palette. And let me go into Joplin is I seem to have a knack for uh oh, Zoom is not responding. I seem to have a knack for doing this. So let me
Why don't you stop sharing? Let me share and let me show you a couple of things on UpNote.
sure.
Okay. I hope this is interesting to some of the people that are out there. Uh, so I'm going to share and screen one and share. Okay, here's my UpNote, and I'm just going to minimize this for a moment. And I'm going to go to a website. Well, here, I went to the same thing you went to, and I in ChatGPT, and I asked the same question, and this is what I got. So when I click here and then go to UpNote, I already pasted it in there, so this is what it looked like. And it gives me the link as well.
Great.
Now, now I can from here make that bold, make it underline. I can highlight it in yellow very easily, just a regular editor down here.
Yep.
Uh, now you had said something about it being in uh, markdown language. And so I went to the settings here and I see that one of the thing format markdown automatically as you type. I've got that checked for whatever reason. Uh, I'm not sure why it isn't. Maybe there's something on the screen that I don't have to use it, so I didn't
Well,
care.
one thing that might do, and this is just a hypothetical guess, is if it's it's either creating compatible Markdown codes as you type so that you can export it into something else that needs Markdown, and it might automatically interpret Markdown.
Well, let's see what we got here. Does it have insert divider code, quote, collapsible section? Where did I see? I saw something that said format. No, I don't know. Anyway, what I wanted to show you is the fact, and I now have 430 notes already in UpNote, and I've been real pleased with it because this is the kind of stuff I'm getting. Um,
Yeah, I took a look at UpNote, and it's a very nice app. I just wanted one that imported my Evernote and just had more features.
yeah, and the other thing that I don't like about it is uh, I do have uh, a clipper just as I had in Evernote for Windows, and it works great. As far as it doing it on my phone or on my iPad, it only copies the link. And so I have to come back to my desktop and find that note, click it, and then have it grab it and put it into UpNote at that point.
Right. If you
I have
choose
been
to,
real pleased.
yep, if you choose to use Obsidian on and you have Android, Obsidian has an Android web clipper for Firefox. So
Mhm.
if you load a URL in the Firefox browser, you can clip it directly into Obsidian.
But
Um,
then instead of using Chrome I also have UpNote, the clip in my Edge, so I can do it with either one. I don't want to have to use Firefox just to do that. And I don't mind doing it on the iPad. I don't do it a lot, but when I do it on the iPad, when I get home, I can just do it again. Just click the link, and it's there. And I tell it to go ahead, put it in UpNote, and it does, and it's there. I've been real pleased with it. And I forgot what
Yep.
I paid. It was a one-time charge, and it was like $50 or something. I can't remember how much it was, but it wasn't a lot, and it's done and paid for.
All right, great.
So just another choice,
Yep.
and more things to confuse you if you're listening to this and don't quite understand it, or do, and then, well, which one would I use? Uh, and both Drew and I went through the same thing. We both were using Note and needed to get off of it when they raised it to $250 a year.
Right. On Android, thankfully, somebody wrote a program called Markdown R. And just like you were mentioning, you can use Chrome or whatever browser you want on Android. If you paste the URL into this little box and press the convert button, like if I put in this how to geek thing and I say convert and then copy, and then I go into Joplin and say new note, it puts that whole thing right in here.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
because when I'm on my iPad, for instance, and I'm looking at emails, newsletters, and so on, and it talks about a website, and I go look at the website. Oh, gee, I want to add that to my look over sometime when I get a chance. Uh, is I just click the U, and it puts the link there. Having what you're just talking about and copy and paste, I probably could do the copy and paste right in my iPad, but I'm trying to do this as quick and easy, get in, get out, and go to the next thing. And then when I get back home, I can take my time and just, there'll only be four or five of them that I have to do that with. And I just then redo it with UpNote there.
yep, exactly. Uh, I frequently read the news on Android, and if I go to a web page, I basically just copy it into here and then put it into uh, Joplin. I have a section called news, uh, and these are just articles that I've chopped out of web pages.
Yeah.
Um, and so this is how I save news articles and web articles from I keep track of software. I keep track of different kinds of Linux commands. Um, and I'm even working on building a website called the Tech Tips Hub. And I'm going to have AI tools, Linux, networking, productivity. And when I'm done doing this, I'll publish this to everybody, and you'll be able to go to a single URL and look through all of my latest notes that I've put in on each of these topics.
Hmm.
Uh, so one of the things that Joplin lets you do is actually build your own website um, by simply taking an article that you've published and put it into this format. And ChatGPT has helped me build this so that it looks normal and professional as a website. And you can do the same thing in Obsidian. The third program that I use is called Notenook. And the difference between Notenook and Joplin and Obsidian is both Joplin and Obsidian are considered privacy minded. They store all of their data locally on the device that you install the software on, and they only synchronize that data to other devices if you choose to do so. Obsidian doesn't have a way to go to obsidian.com, log into your account, and see all your notes like Huey and I are accustomed to doing with Evernote. Notenook is more web centric. It does have an app for all platforms, so it's fully compatible with all your devices. Only it stores its data in a secure and encrypted private area on the Notenook web server. And I can either on my computer go into the Notenook app, or I can go to notenook.com and log into my account and see all my information. So that's another way to go. And this also supports the Markdown format. So if you don't want to, if you want to keep things very, very simple, not have to configure synchronization by yourself, all you do is go to notenook.com and create a free account. You don't have to pay for anything, and install it on your mobile device, whether it be Android or iPhone. And when you log into each device with your account, it automatically synchronizes all your data to all your devices for you. And this is the simplest of the three choices. So it's just a matter of personal preference. Anybody else have any questions besides Huey? No?
No, I think what both of us are trying to tell everyone is we want to save what we find or what we see because we don't read it thoroughly sometimes. We don't, we see the headlines and we don't have time to really get into that article and we want to refer to it later. Or, for instance, for the WinSig, how I build my list is I go back in what was Evernote, now in UpNote, all of my postings for the past month and see all the things that would fit in to what we talk about. And then I make all of those links
Yeah.
and that's how I create my link
Yep.
list.
And,
Uh,
if you spend an hour going through ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini to figure out a solution to a problem that you're having, you might want to document that solution rather than trying to figure out how to go back and find it in chat again.
yeah, because you won't remember which of the chats you used.
So that's basically why I choose to use a note-taking app that supports Markdown. And um, if you have a generic website that you want to go to, like I said, the uh, Markdown load, it's called Markdown load. It's multi-platform, so it multi-browser. So this Markdown code, in fact, you don't have to save it to a file. You can simply hit Control A and Control C and copy it, and then paste it into whatever you want. So, what's nice about this is when you click on these little copy response, suppose I go in here and ask it another question. I now have this scrolls up and I get a new one. And if you have a conversation back and forth, you may have a half a dozen of these little copy responses. If you use the browser extension Markdown, whatever it was I just mentioned, Markdown load, uh, it will grab the entire chat conversation for you so that you have all of your conversation, not just the last snippet. And this is available for Chrome and Firefox. Has anybody put anything into the chat that we need to talk about? Uh, mm, nope, I guess not. So unless anybody has any further questions, it's 3:51. We've been chatting for a while now. We can bring the meeting to a close. Let me stop my sharing.
Tom Odell just asked a question. Uh, Drew, can you summarize the sites you use to document and then he didn't, uh, AI chat?
Summarize the sites I use to document the chat. Can you elaborate on that question, Tom?
You're probably the, I just didn't, I got lost for the whole thing of how you do markdown and you're copying the answers for the various chats that you use, and which would be nice for me because when you ask a question from the various chats, um, different chats, you get different answers.
Yes.
So
And
what I need, what I could use, because I'm kind of lost in this whole thing, is the websites that you use for the markdown, et cetera, if that's possible. Or I'm just lost. I'm trying anyway. I'm hanging
well,
in. I'm
yeah.
lost. Sorry about that, guys.
Well, I would to be simple, I would start by looking at Notenook because you don't have to install synchronization. It does it for you.
Was that
And
again? Notes?
it's called Notenook.
Okay,
Notesnook.
gotcha.
And it's server based. They have a free plan and they have paid plans, but I again use the free plan. And you can preserve your chats. You can create different categories, one for your car if you ask questions about your car. You can create another one for questions about anything. And then you can go back and refer to them at a later date.
So I just copy my chats from, let's say, Copilot or ChatGPT or Gemini, correct?
Yes, yes,
So then it would just automatically we'll copy that and then I can decipher it because it would have different paragraphs, of course,
yes. If you get
for the same
a
question.
if you get some of the chats will give you two or three choices to pick from, and it's difficult to read them all. You can copy them individually into a notes app and then read them and decide which one you want to use and keep.
Right. And that would use Notes Nooks, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'll work on it. I'm trying, guys. I'm hanging, but
Well,
it's
that's what we
very
do
thin
too.
fly, very
Yeah, that's
thin.
what we just do it before you. That's all.
And then I am going to put in Drew CCFS at roosters.simplepluginlogin.com. I'm going to create a unique email address just for this. So in the chat, I just put an email address for me. And if you have any further questions, if you would like to set up synchronization and don't know how and would like some help, just shoot me an email and I'll know that it's related to this based on this email address, and we'll get you going.
Come on.
Okay. Anything else, Drew?
I have one more
Where is it?
question. There was a site that uh, has all the which you pay for, which has all the different Chat GPTs, Gemini, etc. In one place where you just instead of subscribing to each one of those, it's a group set. It's a group type of
Yeah,
subscribing.
they're called aggregators.
Okay, and where do I find that one?
The one at Elva and I see. Yeah,
Can you put in chat?
The two that I use are Magi.co and Galaxy.ai. I think that's the one that Huey
yeah.
subscribes. Galaxy.ai.
Right.
Both
And
of those
Galaxy,
cost about $20. Well, Galaxy is about $8 or something a month if you pay a year in advance.
yep.
Yeah, that's what
And
I would think that's one that was mentioned before, or one of those where you pay 20 or $40 and you then have the ability to also use ChatGPT, Gemini, et cetera, which
Yeah.
charges, which are separate charges.
No, they're all included, but
Yes.
there's limitations on how many tokens you may be, allocated.
right.
But I've never run out of tokens, but
Yeah,
Uh,
I signed a Galaxy AI, and if you are conscientious enough to go there once a day, you can get claim additional free tokens.
yeah.
I do. Yep.
Just have to log in and you get the free tokens.
Mm. Yeah. Alva, what was the second one other than Galaxy AI that you used?
Magi, Magai.co, not com, but co.
What was the
Dustin,
second page?
magai.co.
yeah. The founder is Dustin Stout, and Steve Dotto has a AI Academy on Wednesdays every day at noon, every week at noon, and Dustin Stout, the founder of Magi, is on there and goes over a lot of interesting things about AI.
That's
Uh,
MAGI, correct?
yeah, I
Yes.
just
Thank you.
Magai.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
MAG.
That's
Yep.
right.
Yep. It's in the
Yeah.
chat now.
Yeah, I just put it in the chat.
Thank you.
And
The new one
anything
that
else from anybody?
I've been wondering about this PYXA dot AI, which they say for $47 you get a perpetual license to a bunch of different AI tools. I haven't done it yet, and I don't know what the limitations are, but I've been thinking about it. For $50. I might subscribe to that.
Is this better? It would be more preferable to do that instead of, let's say, subscribe to
Right.
GPT.
Instead of Perplexity for $20 a month or Chat GPT for $20 a month, you get access to hundreds, if you go to Galaxy.ai, hundreds of tools.
Well, that's more things to confuse me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
you could have researching and learning AI could be a full-time 40-hour a week job.
That's
And the worst part about it is as soon as you learn it, they change it. They did.
right.
Yeah. And corporations are starting to do layoffs in preparation for replacing people with AI.
Microsoft laid off 8,000 people this week, or maybe it was last week. 8,000.
Yeah. Meta for Facebook is doing that. A lot of companies are.
Yeah.
If any of
My
you
doctor's
have,
off my doctor's office went to an AI system, and it's so much better than the people were calling up. They'd say, "Hi, is this you at Poplock?" Yes. And and then she'd ask me a question, and I'd answer, and we'd have a conversation, and
Hmm.
it was well done. And as soon as I said, "Yes, I need transportation," bingo, I had a notice from uh, uh, Len, Lyft
Lyft.
Lyft that that they would have transportation for me tomorrow morning.
Yeah. And if any of you have children or grandchildren that are looking for jobs or skills for jobs, make sure they include AI, knowledge in there.
Is there can I have, or would you suggest a couple sites where I can learn how to use this AI stuff that's fairly
Yeah.
concise and put it in,
Uh,
if so, put it in
send
the
me
chat.
Block.
send me an email, and I'll send you a copy of ChatGPT for Dummies.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Well, maybe it's true. Yeah, I'll use that email you just sent.
Oh,
Roosters, right?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Oops. Thank you, Drew.
Yeah. Yeah. I use an alias program so that when I sign up for any new websites, I give each website a unique password and a unique email address.
all right. Thank you very much, Drew. Thanks everybody for attending. The WinSig is the fourth Friday of the month. If you're not signed up for it, just drop me a note and I will add you to the list. If you're already on the list, you're still on the list.
Yep.
And we'll see you next time. Bye, all.
Bye all.
Thanks, Drew.
Yep. You're welcome.